rectal swabs for children. Have you heard this one? Everybody, how's it going? What are you going to say about what's going on out there? It is crazy, insane. Just people have lost their minds. I think we've already known that. I mean, I'm not breaking any ground there. I'm in Los Angeles, Santa Monica specifically. So those of you who are not in one of the blue capital of the world, surrounded by just pretty much everybody who honestly believes anything that's on the TV. You know, I still have a roommate that wears 2 masks at the same time, who gets up every morning watching the news, finishes every night watching the news, and just, you know, every day, have you seen the numbers? Have you seen the numbers? And I'm out every single day. I get out and go run at the beach, or, you know, hike on the trails, and gotta keep the dude man moving. And yeah, so now there's a whole bunch of you know, things coming down the pipe. People that think things are going to slowly start getting back to normal are literally out of their minds. So I tell people it's kind of like stretching, you know, the way we stretch. You know, if you want to get further along in what you're doing, is you push till you can't take any more, then you relax, then you push a little farther till you can't take any more, and then you relax, and you push a little farther till you can't take any more, and then relax, and then eventually, you know, you keep moving until, amazingly enough, you stretch farther than you ever thought you could stretch before. So now what they're doing is they're making the American people stretch. I guess the people of the world, not even the American people, they're going to make them stretch. See how far we can make them stretch. And people are stretching. Let me tell you what, they are stretching. They are bending over and stretching those cheeks out wide. And oh, it is incredible. You know, I'm thankful for the community I have, to be able to talk to different people and, you know, just remind myself that I'm normal, you know, that I am of sound mind, that I'm an intelligent thinking person, that I can look at data and put it together and analyze it and make my own conclusion without needing somebody else to decipher all the information for me. Whereas my neighbors and people around me, they have to have somebody else tell them what stuff means. You know, if they don't have someone to tell them what it means, if they don't have a sister or a brother or a cousin or an aunt or a coworker or a boss or a TV person to tell them what it means, they don't know what it means anymore. You know, something that's been also very interesting to me lately is that you notice how when the COVID first came out, like all the celebrities were coming out saying, stay inside, stay safe, you know, just, you know, hey, this is your famous guy here, just want to let you know, you do your part by staying inside, just like I am.
I'm famous voiceover guy Will Arnett here in my studio at home. Well, I'm here to ask you to do what I'm doing right now, and that's to stay home and stay safe, like a pro.
We all need to stay home.
Stay at home. Stay home.
Stay home.
Stay inside.
Stay out right now. Do it for humanity.
I got a message for all you young people out there who think that it's business as usual. It's not.
We need to stop the spread of this virus, and we can only do it together.
It's only going to work if we all do it together.
Let's act like we live in a community, not just by ourselves.
We can all come together collectively to stop the spread of this virus.
Just to protect ourselves, but to protect others and all the older people you love.
Young people can get it, and they can transmit it to old people. And the next thing you know, oh man.
As best we can, practice social distancing so we can get rid of the spread of this virus as soon as possible. Flatten the curve. Make sure you stay 6 feet away from people. Wash your hands.
You know, they all have their handlers telling them, You know, you need to do a video for this. You need to do a video for this. That's why you have, you know, video after video after video after video, all the same shit, you know, people sitting in front of their computer like this, you know, just very low key, just as you know, as normal and, you know, peasant like as possible, so that they can make it seem like they're just, hey, I'm just like you. I'm just like you. Even though they're not just like you. They are on a whole nother level. You know, they have tons of people that can come in and out of their compounds whenever they want. They've got, you know, multiple just desiring baby mamas that, you know, will come over anytime. So they have lots of things to keep them busy. They got, you know, they have royalties and residuals coming in, so they have paycheck. You know, they're not worried about money. They're not worried. Most of the people that, you know, are really pushing for this quarantine and trying to shame you for, you know, quarantine, stuff like that, are people that are financially set, you know, people that are, you know, people that are still out there hustling check to check, and especially people that aren't getting, there's plenty of people out there not getting unemployment. There are people that, you know, work for themselves that don't pay into unemployment. So those people are dying, you know, those people are really suffering, you know, kids that have to be in homes with shitty families, you know, all the time. They don't even get an escape anywhere. And then there's just the retarded people that are staying inside, making themselves miserable. You know, I've got a lot of people I know that are literally losing their minds a little bit. Like they're just not as sharp as they used to be, and it's like, what's wrong with you? You know, they can't think anymore because they sit in front of the TV and let people think for them. So they've lost, and they don't interact with people anymore because they're because their circle of people, you know, will not interact with them anymore. So they don't have a way to stay sharp. You know, they're very much they're very much trapped. Just gonna bring this light up a little bit so I don't look quite so dark. Oh, but it's so important for people to interact. You know, I was talking to somebody else too that, you know, I've always said hugging is so important, and also, you know, to get your heart right on the heart of the other person. You know, these little distant hug things, are just because our hearts have an electromagnetic property about it, unlike anything else. You know, and you know that the only organ that they can't make a long-term heart. You know, they can't make a long-term artificial heart. You know, they can make a short-term artificial heart, but long-term they can't do it because it has some sort of magical property to it. You know, there's a magical property to that heart. And, you know, I know that, you know, one of the friends of the channel, Matt from A Quantum of Conscience, you know, he did a pretty in-depth, I think he analyzed somebody else's expose on the whole heart situation. But you know, we need three essential things. We need clean food, water, air. We need connection with people, and we need nature. And they've already corrupted the air, the food, the water supply, and they're telling everybody to stay inside, out of nature, out of the sun. And I'm going to be doing I have a book I want to review for everybody with a doctor who mysteriously died, of course, because he was revealing all the secrets of the sun. And that there's been dozens and dozens of studies that you don't know about because they would never put them in the mainstream because they want you using their cancerous sunscreen. I don't use any sunscreen. I'm 45 years old. I don't have wrinkles. I stay out in the sun all day long. Anyway, if you get incremental doses of sun, you don't burn, you just tan. It's called melanin. The other half is that you can't put sunglasses on. If you put sunglasses on, it blocks the spectrum of light going into your eyes, and therefore you won't produce the right amount of melanin. There's a lot of biochemical reactions that happen from the sun hitting your eyes themselves. There's actually a DC current that's generated from the sun hitting your eyes. So when you get all these morons staying inside their houses, they're starving themselves of the sun. They have to have the sun. You can't be without the sun. You just can't. You will not flourish without the sun. You need nature. You got to have nature. And then, of course, the third one was connection. You got to have connection. We were people that were meant to be with one another, to share ideas with one another, to call each other out on our bullshit, and they're taking those three necessities of life away from the average sheeple. So it is really frustrating to be in the middle of all this, especially here in Los Angeles, as I'm in the middle of it. I'm in the middle of it for real. But again, it's important that you stay close to those around you, even if they're across the country. I got people I talk to all over the world, actually, that, are like-minded, that understand this lie that's going on right now. And to be honest with you, even if I did see sick people out there, I still wouldn't lock myself in my house. That's not my solution. You know what I mean? I would try to avoid them, but I would find other places to be in nature. So, yeah. Boy. The summer is here and people aren't getting the sun. When you're in for the winter and the summer hits, you need the sun. The sun is here. The Son of God will bring you life. The Son of God will restore you, will keep your immune system up. Creates vitamin D. And actually, if you can avoid taking a shower after getting a good dose of sun, avoid taking a shower for 24 to 48 hours so that vitamin D can be absorbed through your skin. That's how important the sun is. But, so it's just a lot of lies going along around here. I noticed my last video didn't get that many views, and I'm wondering if it. I don't know. I was wondering if it was the beginning of the Black Lives Matter organizer who, made his statement about BLM. But now we have one of the, head people of BLM admitting 100% that she's a Marxist.
I also think that it might. I think of a lot of things. The first thing I think is that we actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists. We are trained Marxists. We are trained Marxists. We are super versed on sort of ideological theories, and I think that what we really try to do is build a movement that could be utilized by many, many Black folk.
Marxism is a method of socio-economic analysis that uses a materialist interpretation of historical development to understand class relations and social conflict, as well as dialectical perspective to view social transformation. When you have somebody at the head of something like Black Lives Matter that admits to being a trained Marxist, these are trained organizers. These are these are educated people that are educated in propaganda tools. I guess that would be the best way to put it. You know, when you have somebody that's admitting that they are trained in the art of Marxism, then you better pay attention. Like, you know, that's no longer somebody who goes, you know what? By golly, there's just a lot of bad things going on with the police and black people right now. So we better do, no. They got a ton of money from people the likes of, you know, and they say George Soros, but again, George Soros answers to somebody else too. He's not the ultimate evil. We'll never know who the ultimate evil is. You know, whether you want to say, oh, it's you know, certain people will say it's the Democrats, you know, and always anybody who's a Republican Trump fan will say it's the Democrats, and you know, and then the Democrats will just say, oh, it's a bunch of stupid hick, you know, redneck Republicans, and this is how they get them battering. But remember, the left and the right are two wings of the same evil-headed serpent. You know what I mean? So the same dragon, the same head of the dragon. And there's a left. That's why it's a left and a right wing. They're attached to the body of the same controller. You know, I don't know what people think. What do they think they mean by a left and a right wing? Like, have you ever stopped to just think for 1 second? Like, what do you mean a left and a right wing? Why would it be left wing or right wing? What is it a wing of? You know, oh, it's a wing of the White House. That's what it means. No. People don't go that far to think into it. People stop very, very short of deep thought into what this is. And that's because, you know, frankly, there are just a lot of selfish people out there. You know, spiritually bankrupt people. Spiritually bankrupt. People that, you know, I watch my neighbors, how they meticulously pick at their front yard. I mean, on your hands and your knees. Oh, I ruined it. It's ridiculous watching them crawl around on the ground, making everything just absolutely perfect. But then when you try to talk to him about anything real, like, why don't you just live your life? You know, why would you bother with that? It's like, what? You just spent 4 hours crawling around the ground to make your yard look perfect so the neighbors think you guys are perfect. You know, and meanwhile, the whole fucking world around you is burning. And that's because there's so many individuals. I got mine, so fuck y'all. And that's the mentality that's really burning us to the ground. And even these people who are getting together in these groups to go protest and stuff like that, like, it's all virtue signaling. You know, I got kind of off track there when I was clowning on all the celebrities and stuff for making their video after video after video virtue signal. Stay inside. Do as you're told. Do as you're told. Do as you're told. But the whole point of me saying that was because then they're no one's to be heard of during these protests. Where the fuck are all these celebrities saying, stop breaking shit? Do not be involved in breaking anything. If you are causing damage to other people's property, you are the problem. There is nothing, absolutely nothing, that gives you the right to hurt other people or other people's property. And that both things are happening. You're damaging people, you're damaging people's property. And that's not okay. Those wrongs do not correct another wrong. You know, two wrongs don't make a right. But they're silent. You notice there's zero talk. There's no celebrities coming forward at all. None. Nobody's saying this is wrong. This is wrong. All this has to stop. This has to stop. There's nobody coming forward going, how come BLM has a Marxist, trained Marxist leader, you know, getting millions of dollars to this? What? You know, and what's it changed? Look, they started this years ago. What's it changed? It's only been a disruption. And don't get me wrong, it's not that people who are, genuinely trying to be part of the movement. I mean, I know some people who are, they mean well when they go out to these events. And but the problem is, these protests have never worked. Never worked. And now you got disruptors hijacking the protest. And they go in there and they're the ones breaking stuff. Again, you got 70%, 80% of people that are okay, and then you have that other 20% of people that are sent in paid to disrupt. Plus, not to mention, now we have it admitted that from the top, they're trained in what they're trying to achieve. They're trying to change the social landscape of this country, and it's working. And then you got these other people here, and then you got all the sheeple in the middle who are just like, hey, I like black people too. Please don't hurt me, And the truth is, my boy Yusuf L on High Frequency Radio, big holler out to him. If you don't know about being a private man, handling your business in the private and not being in the public, you should go check out High Frequency Radio, go see Yusuf L. But he made a real good point that, these people at the top who are pulling all the strings, the only way that you're actually going to get anything done is to hit the pocketbook, is to attack them commercially. Because all these things are commercial in essence. So if everybody, let's say BLM, the entire movement said, we are going to boycott Nike. No one's going to buy Nike this year. And that's it. Guess what? This shit would stop overnight. This would stop overnight. If BLM said, let's boycott Nike for the rest of the year, this shit would stop overnight. Overnight. Let's throw in Reebok and Adidas while we're at it. Let's throw in Supreme. Although I think it's more the white kids trying to act black that are buying Supreme. I'm not really up to all that stuff. You guys probably know better than I do. But the whole point is boycotts is the way you get shit done in a commercial world. And we're in a commercial world. You're being bamboozled, BLM people. And that goes for Antifa people and all organizations. I'm just naming them because they're the ones in the spotlight right now. So whatever group it is, whether it's Planned Parenthood people, but even again, I mean, that's a whole nother thing. We're just talking about, okay, let's say women's rights, you know what I mean? So they're all wearing vagina hats. Why don't you just stop buying certain products and you hit some of these major corporations, right? And the money, knockers, you're going to get results. So I told people too about schools. You don't want them teaching, certain ideologies in school, like transgender, teaching people, it's one thing to be an adult and choose to do what you want to do, but it's another thing to allow an outside force like the Corporation of the United States to come into the schools and insist that they teach your children that even if you have a vagina, you can still call yourself a boy and be a boy, and later on we'll put a penis on for you. You know what I mean? Kids don't need to be learning that stuff. Kids can love one another without being programmed to learn that sick ideology. And I say sick because literally they're sick. They're mentally ill. Okay? And I say mentally ill because when you have 40% of a population that's committing suicide, that's mentally ill. Okay? Again, I don't care what you do with your personal life, but if 40% of a demographic is offing themselves because they're, obviously depressed beyond belief. Like, you have to be really depressed to take your life. But if 40% of a demographic is taking their life, there's something wrong here. Obviously, again, it's spiritually bankrupt, sure. But if you don't want to go to the spiritual level, let's just stay with the brain then, okay? So they're mentally ill, okay? and God bless him. You know, I follow this guy, Walter Heyer. So Walter Heyer, well, what a powerful story. If you've never checked out Walter Heyer and heard his story before, I suggest you go check out Walter Heyer and check out his story. It's powerful. It's, you know, and again, like I said, again, I support freedom no matter what. I don't care what you want to do when you are a grown ass person, you know, but teaching children lifestyles. I did have a friend who was born a hermaphrodite, and I couldn't hardly wrap my head around it because we were in school, elementary school, you know, but he was a pretty normal guy, sort of, so to speak. You know, he sort of like kind of identified as a guy, I guess. But you know, we were cool, and nobody said a word about it. Like, you know, I mean, I don't know if he told anybody other than me, but I just remember that I didn't really give a shit. You know, it was like, all right, he's my buddy. You know, we played on this in the sandbox, and we were just cool. So, um, so not to say that there's not, you know, small cases. Again, if you look at the percentage of people even now, even though it's been thrust in the forefront of everything, you look at the percentage of people now that suffer, it's very, very, very small. So we're talking about a very novelty group of people, and God bless them, you know. But there's depression on a general, you know, like 30% of all women are on antidepressants. That's a problem. You know, how do we have 30% of all women on antidepressants? Well, that's because we have a corrupt medical system. Corrupt from the ground up. Okay? Nobody should be going to see a doctor unless you are very ill. Because if you're not very ill, they're going to make you very ill. To think that you're having trouble with your emotions and that you're going to take a pill and somehow make them better, you're not learning how to deal with your emotions. I don't care if you had a breakdown or not. People have breakdowns. That's fine. That's okay. And if you took medicine for, you know, a short period of time just to get through it or something like that, that's one thing. But the problem with antidepressants is that they're so heavily addictive that people can't come off them. You look at some of the side effects of antidepressants, and it's, I mean, it's devastating. Suicide is the number one thing for antidepressants. Trying to come off antidepressants are very, very difficult. And luckily, as a health expert, I've had the ability to be able to help people come off of antidepressants. You know, there are things you have to do. You have to get a support system. You have to start, you know, praying and meditating. If you're not a spiritual type of person, then meditating. That means clearing your mind. That doesn't mean worshiping some Eastern god, as my mom would tell you. Everybody has this idea. Go look up a definition. If you're not sure what something means, go look up a definition. My mom's like, I don't like that Eastern voodoo shit, you know, and it's not Eastern voodoo shit. It's look up meditation. In fact, I'm right in front of the computer. Why don't I just read it to you? Because what I explain meditation to people is sometimes too deep, you know, and people are like, oh, I don't know if I believe all that. So I say, okay, let's just stick with the actual definition. And again, I'm going to Wikipedia because it's right here. But I'm okay with this. So meditation is a practice where an individual uses a technique such as mindfulness or focusing the mind on a particular object, thought, or activity in order to train attention and awareness and achieve a mentally clear and emotionally calm and stable state. That's it. Meditation is training our attention and our awareness to achieve a mentally clear and emotionally calm and stable state. Let's get even more simple. Meditation is learning to be emotionally calm and stable. Hello? Doesn't that sound like everybody you fucking know needs a little bit of meditation? Doesn't everybody you know need to work better at training their attention? How many people can keep their attention on a conversation without cutting you off or nobody can listen anymore. Nobody can listen. Nobody will listen. Nobody will listen. Nobody will listen. I'm so tired of having conversations with people where I say something to them and they say something off the wall back to me because they're not fucking paying attention to what I just said. What's the point of us having a conversation if you're not going to listen to what I'm saying? You know, I'll listen to what you're saying. I will take it in before I respond. How many people do you know where you say 3 words out of a full sentence and they're already responding because they took those 3 words and that's what they're responding to? When if you add the other 10 words you were going to say in there, the meaning is completely different. How many people do you know? I know many, muchos, many, 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 many. Very many people. Nobody practices training their attention and awareness. How many people are aware of their surroundings? How many people know when a bird chirps over here? How many people know when a mother's struggling with her children over here and don't have their nose in their phone? How many people see all this that's going on? Not many I know of. Very, very few. Even in my circle of people that are on their truth path, very few of them actually work hard to try to train their awareness and their attention in order to achieve a mentally clear and emotionally calm and stable state. How many people are freaking out these days? How many people watch the news and just trip out? Lots of people. Lots and lots and lots. You know, I have a friend of mine, she does classes for children, meditation classes, to teach children how to meditate. It's amazing. It's so important. If our kids all learn now how to meditate, they'll be able to deal with what's coming. And what's coming is no joke. They're not done with you yet. They're not even close to done with you yet. They're just getting started. Okay, one reason it made me sit down here and make this video today, because I've been kind of busy. I'm taking a class with trust and law and, you know, about being private and learning the difference between a juristic person and a natural person. If you don't know what those things mean, you know, here's some of my flashcards. Sui juris. Of his own. Sovereign, self-governing, responsible. Latin. Latin is a dead language, meaning it's complete. And it's not going to be changed all the time. If you look at our language now, it's a living language, which means it's constantly changing. So we're constantly losing old words, bringing new words in, changing the meaning of things. It's a word game, and that's what keeps people confused. If people just learn about law, like true law, like what the judge knows, okay? The lawyers are just, they work for the court system. The judge works for the court system too, but the judge is allowed more knowledge. He's given more knowledge about how things really work. And they're all commercial courts, by the way. They're not judicial courts. They're commercial courts, equity courts. They're all based on commerce. I won't get into that because I'm still a newbie at learning it, and I don't want to get anything wrong. And that's why I hollered out at USFL, High Frequency Radio, because he's the guru over there that I'm learning from at Secured Party Creditor University, SPC University. And as I learn this stuff and I learn more words, and I have all my flashcards, I'm literally going back to school. I learned natural day in Bouvier's Law Dictionary, natural day. I'm like, you need to have natural day in a law dictionary? Yeah, you do, because there's natural day and then there's artificial day. There's natural me and then there's an artificial me that's on my driver's license. Those are two different entities. One is a living man and one is an artificial commercial entity that this world has joined together. Anyway, again, I don't want to digress and lose anybody here. I'm going to keep it on what I know, which is everything that's going on here. There's more coming, okay? Now they're talking about rectal swabs for children. Have you heard this one? That's what made me sit down today. I've been kind of busy, and I'm like, you know what? Oh, God. You got to be kidding me. Rectal swabs for kids. Okay, now we've lost it. So now they're saying that they can detect COVID even longer if they do rectal swabs for kids. I don't even want to tell you what I would do to somebody who tried to give my kid a rectal swab. Yeah. I'd be rectal swabbing them all over the streets. Like, for anyone who allows their children to be violated like that, they deserve whatever the Bible calls hell after this existence. What they're letting kids do, the way they're covering kids' faces. You know that babies react to our faces. Babies learn by our facial reactions. You know, and I haven't really talked about it much, but I'm hearing impaired. I'm 50% hearing loss in my left and my right. I read lips. I can't read no fucking lips with a mask on. It's awful. It is awful. I often just look at them and I go, no, I can't communicate with you. Like, it's all muffled, first of all. I can't understand what they're saying because it's all muffled. And then I can't see their face or their lips. And even when you pass people on the street, you know, you can see their eyes do this, but you don't know if they're smiling, if they're... I mean, I can tell a lot of people when they see me without a mask, I can just see their eyes go, you know, so you know that they're not happy with you. But to be hearing impaired and not be able to hear and then have to go day to day like that, it's tough, you know. It's really sad. It's really sad, but doing rectal swabs for kids, now that's disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting. And then there's a video of the guy at Walmart who went in without a mask, and somehow an employee thought it was okay for him to put his hands on this man. Are you kidding me? You know, the only thing that businesses are allowed to do is refuse service, okay? They're not allowed to touch you. You know, they can ask you to leave, and if you don't leave, they're welcome to call the police, the policy enforcers, because that's what they are, policy enforcers. Police are there to protect commercial interest. That's it. They're not there for you. They're there for commercial interest only. That's why they come and will show up at the Walmart or for the city of. That's why the police stood down when the city of Santa Monica told them, don't do nothing. Let these people tear up this town. Let them do millions of dollars of damage. You stand down. The city of Santa Monica was told to stand down. City of Santa Monica police, sorry. That shows you right there. They're not from the city. They're a third party. They work for the city, and the city told them stay out of it and let them do their damage because they had an agenda to push. They got to make them look worthless so that they can at some point, you know, either merge them with the U.S. military. But there's already legislation that allows the UN to come in here in a time of civil unrest. So the UN will bring their own troops in here. And you know what? Most of the sheeple will welcome them and say, yes, you got to come in here and you got to take care of these people that don't wear masks. Oh my God, this guy doesn't have a mask on. Even though nobody's sick. There's no healthy people. Let me be clear about that. Healthy people don't get sick. I know people that haven't been sick in years and years and years. I wasn't sick for 8 years. I went 8 years before I got the flu last year, and I had the flu for 10 days, and I literally told my friend who's a doctor, I'm dying. You know, I was kind of half joking, but half not joking because, boy, I didn't remember how painful and how you sweat all day and sleep all day and can barely walk. And when you see the sun, you know, it is a purifying and cleansing experience having hardcore flu. And, you know, and then again, I had another 3-day bout in like the end of January, beginning of February, so that might have been Corona. But the whole point is, healthy people, you get a little bit sick and then you get over it. You know, another friend who was at work, and he said his boss had to go home for, I think, 3 or 4 days. He was throwing up. He was, just got hammered in 3 days. But then he was back to work on the fourth or fifth day. He's fine because he's healthy. Now, if you're a big fatty fat and you're very unhealthy and you're over 32% body fat for the ladies, over 25% body fat for men, then you are looking for trouble. If your body fat is that high, that is a marker that we use in the health field as people who are not healthy. There's something that you are eating and putting into your pie hole that is making you obese. That's what we call. And morbidly obese is rampant. There are a lot of people that are morbidly obese. I'll see people with a mask on who, weigh 100 pounds over what they should weigh, coming out of the store with a mask on and soda and chips, one in each hand. Are you shitting me? You're going to wear a mask and then you're going to have soda and chip in a hand at 100 pounds overweight? I tell you what, if anybody was genuinely scared of this thing, they would all do a juice cleanse for 30 days, lose about 40, 50 pounds, and change their life. If they were genuinely scared. And you know what? If anything was real about the news or the government or any of that bullshit, and it's not. It's all a show. It is a giant reality show. I can't get it through to people. This is all scripted reality show. Trump spent 11 years being a star of that reality show, so he would be ready to be the star of the U.S. corporation reality show. How can you not get that? Obama had many, many years in the Senate to prepare to be the star of this reality show. They get lots of screen time and airtime and practice reading teleprompters. They prep these people before they put them as the CEO, the chairman of the board of the corporation of the United States. But if anything was real, all the government, the CDC, the AMA, that's the American Medical Association, all these entities that are controlling the narrative of what's going on would be telling you, eat your vegetables. If you are going to eat meat, eat only what you need. Don't overeat. Stay away from saturated fat. Stay the fuck away from Burger King, Wendy's, McDonald's. But then you hear Trump, I want to thank Burger King for keeping their drive-thrus open. Fantastic Wendy's. You're all doing a fantastic job. I'll see you guys in just a few minutes. He was thanking them on national TV. Thanking the stores that are giving poison to people to keep them sick. If you think there's anything real, if anybody's still out there believing that Trump or Biden or Bernie or any of these motherfuckers, and these people are all part of the same club. Go check out Cynthia McKinney, okay? Retired, or ex, or whatever you call it, Senator Cynthia McKinney. She was the first black woman senator. And she read the riot act to Donald Rumsfeld the day before 9/11 when she was going, where's the $4 trillion or $2 trillion or whatever it was missing from the Pentagon? And he goes, I don't know. I think I left it in my weekend jeans. And, really? She said, and again, there's lots of interviews with her. She talks about the deep state, which, that's going in the beginning stages of discovering what is really going on in this world, okay, the deep state. So she said, when the cameras are on, they're like, you, and you, and you, and you, and then as soon as the camera shuts off, she said they're all slapping each other on the back, laughing, having cigars and brandy. They're all pals. They're all buddies. They're all playing their roles, When I played the role of Tyler in Loving the Bad Man, I played a murderous, Nazi skinhead, but that's not who I am. Obviously, I'm a goofy clown. I like to have fun and sing songs and make people laugh. And I'm of course not a Nazi, so uh, they play a role. You know, there's actors out there, and those are actors. They're actors on the news too. Those are actors too. I did videos about that too, and so anyway, if anybody's still believing, going, boy, I really think Trump is he's gonna do something soon. Don't hold your breath. Like, he's playing a part of this. Just like I was listening to somebody else um, read, what is the name of that? The Curse of Co-Suretyship. That's what I got to read. The Curse of Co-Suretyship. You know, and they're talking about the scam of the Social Security scam, and how over decades each president kind of knocks it down a rung and knocks it down a rung, so that it's not like overnight that Social Security is gone, but that each time it just goes down a little lower until eventually it's gone, and then everybody is hopelessly, you know, begging the government, please be in control of my life, make me your slave and feed me, instead of people learning how to feed themselves and how to come back and live in this world, how to identify food, grow food. You know, we have resources we can use. We don't need to go to Trader fucking Joe's. Okay? I can't tell you. I am baffled how there's a line, a 2-hour line to get into Trader Joe's, and then across town there's another small local owned grocery store. All right, I'll tell you. I don't want to tell you, but the Co-op, where there's no line. It's great food. But everybody's programmed, we must go Trader Joe's. I'm like, I see this line a mile long, and I go, you know, a mile down the street to my store, Co-op, and there's no line at all. I get right in. And it's better food. Better food. I have a friend of mine who's a doctor, and he's friends with somebody who does distribution for Trader Joe's, and they said that their organic stuff is not organic. It ain't organic. That's what they said. They'll harvest it organic, and then they spray it. So as long as they quote unquote pick it and it's organic, and then they can spray it to make sure the shelf life stays. So things are not as they seem in Wonderland. Oh, yeah. Trying to think if there's anything else in this episode of Thor, the truth, or what's the truth? What is the truth? The truth, or what is on the news is not the truth. Is that the truth, or is there a different truth? They're saying the numbers are ramping up. They're ramping up. They're getting. Where? You see anybody who's sick? No. You don't see anybody who's sick. So, I'm trying to think if there's anything. I feel like there was something else I wanted to cover while I'm here, but I guess this is the last one. So, I guess for now, I'll probably go dope. I got some videos I'm making that I'll make available soon. Just a little bit of comedy to keep people smiling during these crazy times. And if you have a dog nearby, give your dog a little hug. Dogs are unconditional love. And yeah, I think I will leave you with a video I took driving down the street. Because, again, people aren't sick. People are out there working. People are out there. They're starting to wake up a little bit. Now, who knows what they're going to do in the future? They have the ability to make people sick. Sure. And I don't put it past them to, I mean, they're spraying the skies all the time. If you don't know that yet, then you're hopeless. Like, you might as well put your mask on even when you're in bed by yourself, okay? They're spraying the skies all the time. So they do have the ability to spray us and make us sick anytime they want. They put all kinds of stuff in the water. They could dose the water anytime they want. They're putting 5G up. By the way, I did an article for a local newspaper here, and I'm going to do a video on my 5G article. You know, I was staying focused on the corona thing, but I think the corona thing is getting covered pretty well and played out pretty well. I don't think there's any new information to add at the moment, other than it's all BS and people are still buying it. But I'll put that 5G article out because I got everything documented where if you read it and you just look at the links that I'm covering, you'll understand that it's deadly. It is not. Nobody asked for it anyway. Nobody said, boy, I'm not getting enough porn here, I need to get more porn faster. No, nobody's asked for this. This is being deployed. So anyway, I'll be working on that. And again, I'm going to do my video on the sun soon too, because the sun is, everybody should be getting out and getting the sun. Get as much of that shit as you can. Like literally go out, start with whatever your skin can handle. I usually, when I first started back, I took like a few years where I didn't get out in the sun a lot. I was, I played music for a long time, so living that nightlife, I didn't get out for a while. And then when I came back out, I was white. And I was out there for like 15, 20 minutes and it burned. I burned. And then, and then I had to go back out again for 30 minutes after a few days. And then little by little, I started incrementally getting more and more sun. So that's what you got to do. Stop wearing sunglasses. Stop wearing sunglasses. You do not want to wear sunglasses. It's not going to ruin your sight. My sight is no worse than it was when I was wearing sunglasses. I stopped about 2.5, 3 years ago. And I can be out all day now. So if I need a hat, a little shade, that's fine. I don't suggest you stare at the sun, but you don't need to wear sunglasses. And there's a billion reasons why you shouldn't wear sunglasses, because that's how many biochemical reactions are going on in your body, and the sun, makes them all happen. There's a reason that the sky is blue, and you need blue light to make you active. But at nighttime, the blue light from your screens and LED lights, they're bad, really bad, because your body's trying to go to sleep, but those blue lights are saying, stay awake. So you need to get rid of the blue light. That's why in the early morning, in the night, it's orange, like the incandescent bulbs used to be before they fucked you over again with LED. That's all by design. It's not to save you energy. Who wants to save a little bit of energy and then lose their eyesight and get melanoma? Because that's what happens with LED. It'll ruin your eyes and it will give you more melanoma. People get more melanoma indoors than ever outdoors. That's one of the studies I'll show you. So, same thing with the cars having LED lights. I don't even like to drive at night anymore just because I don't want to get blinded by some asshole in his brand new Jeep truck with his LED lights. Get the old school lights out. These LEDs are killers. So anyway, I digress a little bit more. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope to see you soon. All right. The Truth Or, I'm out. Bye, dude, man.
Okay, as they're telling us all that corona numbers are rising. They're rising. All these people are sick. They're rising. Again, you can see what a load of bullshit. Really? They're rising. The numbers are rising. That's why there's non-stop traffic, because they're rising. They're not rising. The news lies. The news tells you whatever the news wants to tell you, whether it's true or not. It's so important to start using their own God-given intuition. You were given intuition, so you can smell out the bullshit. How in the world are people still just believing whatever's on the news? I can't get it. I have a roommate that's that way. She gets updates on her phone from the news, and I'm like, so they're constantly feeding you propaganda. At no point do you have an opportunity to really decide for yourself because you're being told what to think every minute of every day. It is incredible the level of brainwashing propaganda. Now they're spreading all this stuff about white supremacists, KKK. The KKK was started by the Freemasons. The KKK was, not an organic group. I wanted to say Albert Pike, but I'm not positive. Anyway, the KKK was not started organically. Let's put it that way. So, anyway, don't believe any of this white supremacist stuff. I mean, not to say that there's not prejudiced bigots, but that's a tiny, 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 tiny percentage of the people in our population that is, that way. You go out, turn off the freaking TV, and go out into the world, and you'll find that people aren't like that. You can go walk down in the trailer park or and go to the hood, all the places that are, suffering from poverty. Go in those places, and they're not like that. I mean, again, you're going to find a couple bad eggs out of the bunch that are bitter at life in general, but they're not just sitting around barking about people of other colored skin. It's ridiculous to think that. The only place you get this programming is in schools, in news, from your government, because this way they keep you controlled, they keep you divided, they keep you fighting all the time instead of realizing that it's all a pile of crap. So again, we just went, I don't know how many miles there. I mean, I started after I went past some of the, we had already passed a whole bunch of the traffic when I started the video, just because I want people to see people aren't sick. There wouldn't be, millions of people going to work and doing their thing today if there are that many sick people. So don't believe. Stop believing the news. Put your thinking caps on. Think for yourself. All right. See you in a bit.